Oh, Harrowdeep. Harrowdeep, Harrowdeep. Even the name sounds like something you say right before something bites your ankle and drags you screaming into a bottomless hole. Hiya, I'm Khee, Locke's goblin aquatic interloper. He's the half-elf full nerd who writes the scrolls. I'm the one who reads them, questions them, and occasionally stains them with mushroom soup. Together we are Locke and Khee. Today we're going somewhere a little wetter, darker, deeper. If Shadespire was a shattered reflection of a city, Beastgrave a hungry mountain, then Harrowdeep is a drowning dream with teeth. So go ahead and hold your breath, because this time, we're plunging into the cold abyss where even ghosts are afraid to swim. Ah, Harrowdeep. You ever find a place so dark, so twisty, so absurdly wet that you start questioning whether you're in a dungeon or a bad dream after eating 6 oysters and a bottle of black ink? Welcome to that place. Harrowdeep is like if a nightmare and a riddle had a baby and then raised it in a dark basement. A sprawling labyrinth buried under the ocean floor, hidden away in the gloomiest guts of the realm of Ulgu. Because obviously that's where you go when you're a power-hungry sorcerer or an emotionally unstable stormcast with parental issues. This place isn't just under the sea, it's under the sea bed, deep in the Shadow Sea, which is already in the Umbral Vale, which is inside the Shadrach Convergence, which is, oh, who even knows anymore? It's like a set of magical Russian dolls designed by someone who's allergic to light and emotionally stable architecture. People don't go to Harrowdeep, they end up in Harrowdeep. And once you're in, baby, there's no exit, no sun, and definitely no dry socks. Just endless stone, endless shadow, and weird whispers telling you how good you'd look with extra tentacles. Anyway, let's see what Locke scribbled down about this little nightmare vacation spot. Hopefully it's more useful than his last set of notes, which were just bring rope and a doodle of a fish wearing a monocle. Let's begin reading Locke's scroll, shall we? Ahem. The Harrowdeep was constructed by shadow demons hailing from the Orb Duplicita. Okay, I don't know who names these things, but Orb Duplicita sounds like a discontinued body lotion or a spell that turns your ex into a crab. These parasitic entities were, in part, fueled by the nightmares of lesser beings. And for centuries, they had delighted in feeding upon the terror of those who fell into their clutches. Ah, yes, nightmare-eating demons. Real original, Ulgu, why not throw in a haunted dentist while you're at it? Yet for all their power, they were creatures of insubstantial shadow, unable to feel their incorporeal talons tear warm flesh, or to savor the taste of gushing blood. So basically, they could never perform the forbidden act of unprotected handholding. Bitter and hateful, they longed to manifest in the physical realm in all their glory. So it was that they constructed Harrowdeep, not merely as a dungeon into which to lure their prey, but as something far more sinister. You ever build a cursed underwater dungeon just because you're mad you can't cuddle properly? These guys did. Cryptic signs of their intent lie everywhere amidst the darkened labyrinth. The shattered chrysalises containing malformed skeletons, and the strange crystalline eggs that are scattered about the structure give a hint to its true purpose. Not the ending of life, but the gestation of something new. Oh cool, it's not just a murder maze. It's a birthing chamber too. This place just keeps getting sexier. For centuries, the shadow demons labored, using the power of the hellflux to twist the waking gate into a vessel for their dark designs. Just once, I want to read a sentence in Locke's notes that doesn't sound like the opening to a goth concept album. They poured so much of their malign essence into this work that upon its completion, they were forced to entomb themselves at the bottom of Ulgu's ocean to recuperate in lightless isolation. Honestly, relatable. Even as they slumbered, they reached out with their dreaming powers to ensnare mortals and drag them into the maw of Harrowdeep, for the living were a necessary catalyst for the next stage of their plans. You know, I drag people into stuff in my dreams too, but usually it's an interpretive dance about tax fraud. Different vibes. Actually, that reminds me of a dream where Locke sat on me and wait, never mind. Those who wander the halls of Nethermaze are nothing more than subjects in these dark experiments. With every step that takes them closer to the waking gate and freedom, they come nearer to fulfilling the shadow demon's unspeakable desires. Oh ho ho. Unspeakable desires, eh? Knew I liked these guys. Right. Locke's official scroll of overcomplicated spookiness, chapter something or other. History, starting with the Age of Myth. In the Age of Myth, legends of the ancient coastal tribes in Ulgu tell of a deeper darkness, a place far beneath the dark seas of the realm of shadows that can't be found by looking for it. Okay, but same, honestly. Most of my belongings can't be found by looking for them. Myths warn about ships being lost under the dark gaze of the orb duplicita. Oh, there it is again. Seriously, if I ever launch a perfume line, orb duplicita is going to be the one that smells like sea mist and unresolved trauma. But with the dawn of the Age of Chaos and its own horrors, the tales of Harrowdeep became lost to time. Yup, classic Ulgu. Terrifying underwater demon maze? Totally forgotten the second a bigger, shinier apocalypse rolls into town. It's like trauma whiplash. Now for the Age of Sigmar, as in the era we are currently in. Next up from Locke's endless scroll of haunted holiday destinations, we've got Urama Othal. Ooh, sounds regal, or like a very expensive shampoo. Ahem. The Harrowdeep was only rediscovered in the Age of Sigmar. Queen Khiatan of the Morladron was the Idoneth exile who first established the undersea haven of Urama Othal, where Khee and Deepkin sought freedom and autonomy from the rest of their kind. So, a goth fish queen built an underwater commune full of moody knife elves and sea elf dropouts. This is already my kind of reality show. Yet it was not autonomy that drew Queen Khiatan and her people to their lair of Harrowdeep, but the subtle insinuations and promises of shadow demons. You know, classic mysterious whispers in your dreams situation? Not a red flag at all. Ones that echoed the hints Khiatan had discovered in her occult research before she first left Morladron. Translation? She read one cursed Tumblr post and now everyone's cursed. The voices spoke of a swirling portal deep beneath the ocean of the Helliflux, known as the Waking Gate. If a mortal were to seek out this portal and pass through it, they would emerge on the other side, renewed, with all their bitterness, rage, and self-doubt shorn away. Ooh, bitterness, rage, and self-doubt? Sounds like my entire personality package, but sure, let's just shave that off in a metaphysical car wash. To an Idoneth, one whose people had long been stricken by a terrible curse of the soul, such promises were impossible to dismiss. They offered Khiatan and her people a faint hope of redemption. Right, redemption. Just ignore the screaming eldritch crustaceans clinging to the walls. Meanwhile, the daughters of Cain who joined these Idoneth were religious dissidents who opposed the reforms under Marathi Cain, which began during the era of the Broken Realms. Okay, so half the cast is running from a power-mad goddess mom, the other half's running from their own metaphysical rot, and everyone's decided to move into a sentient shadow maze filled with mysterious eggs. Honestly, this place doesn't need rescuing. It needs a group therapy session and maybe a sprinkler system. All right, let's dive back into Locke's notes, literally this time. The Harrowdeep doesn't just want to kill you, no. It wants to whisper sweet nothings to your brain meats first. Very romantic. Rediscovery of the Harrowdeep. It was not long before the elves discovered the secret beneath their winding streets. Always a good sign when your newly built utopia has surprise basements. In the Great Plaza of Dusk, a void opened without warning, revealing the Silent Stair, a spiral path downwards that seemed to slowly hypnotize those who traveled upon it. Oh no, a staircase that gaslights you, truly Ulgu is a realm of horrors. Descending the first few floors, the elves discovered chambers filled with caches of shade glass and rocky chrysalises that, when broken open, revealed curiously fresh skeletons. Fresh skeletons. Not words I want to hear together unless I'm at a goth brunch. Many clutched strange jewels that radiated a fell energy, though not even the most accomplished mystics could divine their purpose. So, just like real estate in Ulgu, pretty, haunted, full of curses, but no one really knows what it does. Queen Khiatan became increasingly withdrawn, even by Idoneth standards, though those passing outside her chambers occasionally heard her descending into uncharacteristically fervent and one-sided arguments. Gotta love a queen who argues with her own inner monologue. Big, I will be taking no further questions energy. As reports of nightmares amongst Urama Othal's populace grew more intense, an expedition was organized to uncover the true nature of their refuge. Because when you're living in a giant nightmare stomach full of haunted eggs, the first response is, let's poke it with a stick. None who entered ever returned. Shocker. Eventually, Khiatan herself journeyed into the depths. And that was the last anyone saw of our favorite wet goth queen. The absent queen has not been sighted since, but there are signs of her presence. Fragments of text scrawled across coral slates and scattered pieces of torn vellum. Love that even after losing her mind, she still leaves cryptic notes like she's starring in an underwater escape room. It seems impossible that such delicate clues have survived the pooling waters by accident. Which is ghost speak, for someone wants you to follow the breadcrumbs to your doom. It was only when Khiatan descended into Nethermaze itself that she realized she had been deceived. Poor girl, she thought the whispering voices were her friends. Classic eldritch mistake. The voices in her head belonged not to benevolent saviors, but incorporeal entities that had long slumbered beneath the oceans of Ulgu. Yes, shadow demons. The multidimensional catfishers of the mortal realms. Like when I write on my Tinder profile, I'm 4'1", but I'm really 3'11". Locke doesn't seem to mind much, though. Where once they dripped honeyed promises into her ears, now they mocked her cruelly. This is why you don't trust anything that rhymes or whispers from inside a clam. As Khiatan's people stumbled blindly into Harrowdeep after their queen, they one by one succumbed to hopeless madness, and the labyrinth consumed them. So, bad Yelp reviews incoming. Though stricken by guilt, Khiatan would not give in to despair. Hopeful, wait. Amidst the lies and deceptions spoken by her tormentors, she sensed a glimmer of truth. That the Waking Gate did in fact exist. Yup, hope is the bait. However, the queen would eventually be consumed by the Harrowdeep, devolving into a mad revenant and made a plaything of the shadow demons. Romantic. In a please don't touch me with your thought tentacles kind of way. Right, now we've reached the part in Locke's notes where Marathi's agents start poking around, which, always goes well. Investigation. When Marathi's agents finally found the hidden enclave of Urama Othal, it was deserted. Oh wow, what a surprise. You mean to tell me the haunted shadow city built on a demonic suggestion spiral was not still functioning as a wellness spa for emotionally volatile elves? Only strange and twisting shadow magic remained in the city, and the shrouded halls below. Love that for them. Nothing screams safe real estate investment like twisting shadow magic. It's the Ulguan equivalent of finding black mold and a cursed heirloom under your floorboards. Ever since, the whispering whirlpools, portals to Harrowdeep, have opened up with increasing regularity across Ulgu and the mortal realms. Because nothing bad has ever followed the phrase, whispering whirlpool. Just once I want a portal like that to lead to, a cupcake dimension. Trapping more souls than ever before in the lightless chambers of Harrowdeep. So basically, it's a growing collection of extremely stressed out people in a magical sub-basement designed by introverts and ancient trauma demons. Like IKEA, if the furniture wanted to eat you. Ooh, Locke labeled this next section, The Nature of Harrowdeep. Real poetic, real ominous, real damp. Located even below the lightless ocean floor, the ancient structure known as Harrowdeep is equally parts winding labyrinth and ominous pit. See, if something is described as both a labyrinth and a pit, that's your cue to turn around. Nothing good happens in a pit, not even sexy pits. Especially not sexy pits. A coiling spiral, its caverns and hallways leading deeper and deeper into the depths of Ulgu. Because why just explore a dungeon when you can spiral emotionally while you're doing it? Floodings and the always present shadow magic of Ulgu makes it impossible to determine its true size. So it's a mood ring and an escape room. Perfect. Add in some deep sea humidity, and you've got the worst spa weekend imaginable. Harrowdeep is shrouded in mysteries and legends, and little can be known for sure. Ah, yes, the old we know nothing and it wants to eat us lore trope. Classic. But some details stay surprisingly consistent among the countless tellings that circulate the realm of shadow. Oh, goody. Consistent trauma is the best kind. It's when the orb duplicita, darkly fabled moon of Ulgu, is at its apogee that the doors to Harrowdeep open. Translation: when the big creepy moon does its big creepy thing, the floor turns into a trapdoor. Who designed this place? A goth cartoon villain. Any surface touched by its sickly gaze can transform into a gateway into the depths. Even swamp water can turn into a whispering whirlpool that transports anyone unlucky enough to be pulled beneath the surface into the lightless halls of Harrowdeep. So if the moon makes eye contact with a puddle, it turns into a demon uber. Got it. Just imagine slipping on a mossy rock and ending up in an eternal psychic oubliette. Again, those that find themselves trapped inside Harrowdeep soon feel the dark influence of this labyrinth. Paranoia soon grips the minds of even the most stalwart allies. Because nothing says team-building exercise like mutual suspicion and extra-dimensional dread. While all that reside inside these walls feel a growing urge to descend deeper and deeper down the spiral. Great. A psychic spiral staircase with FOMO. Oh, what if there's treasure at the bottom? What if there's trauma, Chad? What then? Legends speak of vaults filled with treasures and powerful artifacts deep inside the dark heart of Harrowdeep. Oh, sure, generic treasures. Or curses. Or, I don't know, one of those weird boxes you open and it whispers your dad's secrets in reverse. All right, next up from Locke's bottomless scroll, Structures of Harrowdeep. Spoiler alert, it's less home and garden and more, oops, all existential terror. The uppermost levels of Harrowdeep do not appear too different from other dungeons that can be found all across the mortal realms. Ancient structures made from slick stonework, as well as signs of recent elven habitation. Ah yes, ancient stonework and suspiciously recent elven Airbnb listings. Smells like mildew and bad decisions. Only the further one descends, the more strange and other does the environment become. Weird geometrics of the stonework and echoes that do not quite feel right. Because nothing screams, you've made a huge mistake, like off-brand geometry and eldritch reverb. Love a place where the walls have Pythagorean trauma. All accompanied by the spray of the penumbral falls, a torrent of shadow magic gushing from the top of Harrowdeep. It's like a magical water feature, but instead of serenity, you get hallucinations, arcane nausea, and probably an erotic dream about your coworker. You've been warned. Deeper in, the hallways spiraling further and further into the depths become claustrophobic, harder and harder to navigate. And that's before the paranoia kicks in. Or the hallway tries to date you. Ulgu's real clingy like that. Portals that appear when moving towards them from one angle but not from another. Perfect. A dungeon that gaslights you. Smooth, featureless obstacles barring the way forward, all while half-sunken skulls are fused to the walls, their empty eyes staring into the darkness. You ever been judged by a wall? Like, really judged? These guys are like, oh, you thought you were the main character? Cute. Some of the larger caverns and structures inside the labyrinth have been given names by those trapped inside its depths. The Halls of Hidden Eyes and the Vaults Mysterium are just a few of them. Yes, nothing suspicious about a place literally called the Vaults Mysterium. That's exactly where I'd go if I wanted to misplace my sense of identity and the feeling in my thighs. All right, next up, Chambers of Harrowdeep. Because every cursed, reality-warping labyrinth needs rooms with ominous names that suggest you're about to unlock trauma, like it's a puzzle box full of daddy issues. Plaza of Dusk, an upper chamber of the Harrowdeep. It was here that the yawning portal to the Silent Stair, and by extension the deeper portions of the Harrowdeep, were first revealed to the elven colonists of Orama Othal. Metalliths within this chamber are etched with harrow runes that both name the site and tell the story of Queen Khiatan. Ah, nothing like a light reading nook where the walls are engraved with your queen's tragic backstory. Romantic, morbid, possibly mildly cursed. 10 out of 10 atmosphere, -1 for the ambient whispering. Silent Stair. A spiral path downwards into the Harrowdeep that seemed to slowly hypnotize those who traveled upon it. Because of course it's a spiral. If it was straight and well lit, it wouldn't be Ulgu, would it? Within the Nether Maze, one might accidentally stray too close to arcane glyph stones and be magically transported back to the summit of the Silent Stair. Oh yeah, a full reset button. You fall down a haunted spiral of despair, then boom, back to square one, like a dungeon-themed roguelike. Oops, you rolled despair again. Try your luck next lifetime. Many travelers cannot stand the descent a second time and simply collapse to the ground, where they are slowly and agonizingly absorbed into the very foundation of the labyrinth. Mood. And then, yes, the Nether Maze itself. Just when you think a cursed, mind-warping undersea death spiral couldn't get worse, Ulgu is like, hold my gloom. Those who follow the spiraling labyrinth of Harrowdeep to its very nadir find themselves entering an even more nightmarish place. The Nether Maze, a bizarre and ever-morphing domain of pure shadow magic, shaped by the will of ancient slumbering entities. You know a place is friendly when nadir is in the directions. Keep descending until your spirit breaks and your soul gets damp. Very tourist-friendly. Locke and I went there once, by the way. It was, kinda cute. We were following a twisting staircase that kept turning into a squid, and he got real serious trying to take notes. Quill out, scroll in hand, brow all furrowed like he was writing love poetry to an eldritch hallway. Meanwhile, I was just trying to eat a glowing jelly fruit off a wall vein when one of the shade glass shards spat open a portal and nearly slurped him in. I caught his cloak just in time, and we both fell backwards into a puddle of despair slime. He apologized for getting my sorry wet. I swear if that boy was any more polite, he'd thank the void for eating us. Anyway, the sinkhole at Harrowdeep's nadir leads to an inverted reflection of the upper halls, a maze even darker and more dangerous than its mirror. That's right, it's like Harrowdeep's evil twin. Like me if I had a goatee and worse impulse control. These chambers are filled with blasphemous artifacts and chrysalis-like devices of ancient, terrible provenance. See, I would love one of these in our library. Just one. You know, for the ambiance. Water pours along the walls at unnatural angles, dripping from floor to ceiling. Twisting stairways collapse in upon themselves in impossible fashion. It's like an Escher painting had anxiety, and tentacles, and humidity. Unblinking orbs wink open amidst pools of gelid slime. Don't wink at me, sentient eyeball. I'm married to trauma. Fragments of shade glass hurled far and wide when the labyrinth was pierced by the cataphrane curse. Ah, yes, nothing like cursed soul shrapnel embedded in pulsating walls. I've seen less clingy X's. The inky waters of the penumbral sea find ingress, along with oozing, boneless creatures from the ocean floor. You had me at boneless. No bones, no betrayal. Ha, I like my bone in, if you know what I mean. Sorry, Locke said, I only ever get one. That's what she said, or if you know what I mean, per week, so I had to make sure I used it wisely. Thank you for understanding. Some traps are lethal, others are more subtle. Like the hovering glyph stones that send you all the way back to the top of the Silent Stair. Whatever purpose Nether Maze was created to serve, it is somehow connected to the wider realms. Right. Connected to the wider realms is ancient ghost speak for, this thing's about to make your trauma multiversal. Somewhere down in the abyssal darkness lies a portal to freedom. Or, you know, a slightly larger abyss with better lighting. Depends on your definition of freedom. Oh ho ho. And now we arrive at the grand finale, the abyssal cherry atop this cursed parfait of gloom, the chamber of the last threshold. At the end of the Nether Maze lies the chamber of the last threshold, whose walls are made of shrieking coral. Yup, you heard that right. Screaming coral walls. That's not metaphor, by the way. They're literally made of calcified adventurers who failed the final exam. Talk about leaving your mark. Honestly, if I had a nickel for every dungeon that tried to digest me, I'd have, well, a small retirement fund and several emotional support rats. They are fashioned from the bodies of those who tried and failed to escape Nether Maze, and were instead absorbed into the very workings of the structure so that their nightmares might feed its terrible architects. Oh, good. So not only do you fail, you become emotional wallpaper. And the worst part? The choral still screams. Like the world's worst ASMR channel. Welcome to Relaxing Dungeon Sounds, Episode 1, Anguish in Dolby Surround. They stretch out calcified arms to grasp and tear at any who enter, frenzied in the grip of their terror. Friendly, real open concept interior mauling. In the center of this chamber is the realm gate known as the Waking Gate, a vile, bubbling pool of shadow magic and embryonic matter. Frothy nightmare soup. Exactly what I wanted to lower myself into after a casual descent through a spiraling maze of psychic horror and salty goo. Those who take up this final test are challenged both physically and spiritually. Only those who face their inner demons and conquer them, which for me would probably just be the time I thought the no shoes, no shirt, no hat, no service meant to not wear those things. I'm still banned from that store. Locke enjoyed himself, though. Only the strongest and most resolute creatures make it to the Chamber of the Last Threshold. Indeed, the entire design of Harrowdeep ensures that this is the case. And there it is. Dungeon gotcha logic. Only the traumatized survive, but congratulations. Now you're tasty enough for the shadow demons to spread on toast. Those who escape Nether Maze take something with them, a parasitic shadow that clings to their essence, screaming in agony and triumph as it passes from shadow into light. So, trauma. Got it. Just say trauma. And there you have it, darlings. The Harrowdeep. Come for the whispers. Stay because your body got turned into a mood-lit wall sconce. Who? Well, if your head isn't spinning like a demonic whirlpool by now, then congratulations. You might just be Harrowdeep material. Or deeply broken. Either way, you're in good company. That wraps up our little shadowy spelunk through one of the most eldritch, goo-slick, psychologically exfoliating dungeons in the mortal realms. You know, just your average cursed nightmare labyrinth built by shadow demons to hatch emotional parasites sort of place. Lovely vacation spot. I've been Khee, Locke's aquatic infiltrator and subterranean sass dispenser. And this whole script, dug up, dusted off, and ink splattered by Locke himself, our half-elf, full-nerd chronicler who once got stuck in a shade glass mirror trying to comb his hair. If you enjoyed the descent, don't forget to slap that subscribe button like it owes you Warpstone, and as always, until next time, God bless. Locke. Maybe next time label your scrolls better? I thought I was grabbing your grocery list. I was halfway through deciphering 12 shadow fangs and a half soul of fungus wine before I realized it wasn't dinner. Anyway, I'm lighting a candle, putting on my coziest socks, and pretending this whole place doesn't exist. Good luck sleeping tonight, nerd.